when they
I
arrive.
have 6 o'clock. So why don't I call the meeting to order, and people will join us as they can in May. No problem.
Jennifer, you're there, right?
I'm here. Yep.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, well, I'm going to call the December the 1st meeting of the Community Services Advisory Committee to order. And whoops, and then I just moved right out of the page I wanted. Most of you or all of you have seen the agenda. If anyone has any thoughts or corrections, good time to say it. I'll assume not. Hi, Kurt. The next item is always to determine if anyone has any pecuniary interests that they would like to disclose under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. Kim, did you want to say something?
I think I might have to. For the grant applications, Alora House was one of the grant applicants, and I was commissioned to do their fundraising ornament for this year. So it was a paid commission job. And I was looking through their budget and their revenues and that, and when they are applying for the grant that they're asking from us, their money goes into their general coffers. Like, it's not like a specific thing where it would be separated out. So I don't know how to handle that, Devlin, but I think there's conflict.
I think so too.
Okay.
She can abstain from commenting on that application.
Okay.
Right?
In a similar manner, I noticed that my wife was one of the people who wrote in support of the Laura Fergus Arts Council application. I wasn't aware of it, but I don't know if that's a conflict, but I bring it to the front.
I don't think so, Devlin.
I don't think
there's no monetary gain for you, Brian,
No,
as a
absolutely
result.
not.
So whereas Kim is a different situation. So, but Devlin,
Okay.
you can concur. Your legislative
No.
services, not me.
I would agree with that, Dorothy. Right, exactly what you said.
Good, thank you. Kim, we'll bear that in mind when we come to that one.
Okay.
Good, thanks for raising that. I just have to keep, my agenda keeps leaving the screen. Well, we have minutes from the 3rd of November meeting. Do we have any concerns about those? Any errors or omissions? Failing that,
No.
do we, remind me, Devlin, do we approve this by consensus, or do we want a motion?
Just by consensus, Brian.
Okay, so not seeing any opposition, we'll consider that the minutes are approved. I'm not aware of any presentations or announcements, but I throw it open to anyone who wants to say something. I'm also not aware that we have any delegations. Well, then that takes us right to the community impact grants. So I'll throw it over to Dorothy, and we'll get this big guy done.
I like that positive attitude, Brian. So I don't know what order you guys have your grants in, but mine are in a specific order as per spread. I have 2 spreadsheets and my book that has to match. So we're going to be starting in, they're alphabetical. There you go. So the first one I have on my schedule is Bellwood Lions Club. Now, can I ask you, have each of you done any scoring at all for these? Because if you have scores, I'd like to take them as part of my paperwork, or you can send them to me later on in the week, whatever you prefer. So to start off, Bellwood Lions Club applied for $1,900. Unfortunately, they are a service club, which makes them ineligible. Any objections?
No. And you had given us a heads up about that before.
Okay. So I'm just going to go through each one. I'm a non-voting member, so I'm just going to share with you if there's any red flags. That's kind of my role. All right. The next one I have on my list is the Children's Foundation for $5,000. And that's for their Friends and Family Food Program. I did reach out to them because I wanted to confirm, and I was trying to be a bit proactive with some of this, that 5,000 is only spent on that program in schools in Central Wellington. And they confirmed 13 schools in Central Wellington are the ones that are the recipient of that program. So no red flags there at all. So I just need some direction. And whether you want to give me scores or you just want to do it by vote, maybe we can start that way, because I think some of you would rather submit your scores tomorrow, and that's okay. I just need backup. It's all about transparency, and I like to have this information in case I get asked why or why not certain groups didn't get funding. All right. So
Okay.
I'll leave that up to you folks. But right now on the table is the Children's Foundation for $5,000.
I'm good with that $5,000. I think they're a great organization.
As am I.
Carrie,
Agreed.
would you have any objection if we just did it kind of all in favor?
Let's do it that way.
Okay,
Why don't we do it if anybody's opposed? Because isn't that easier?
that's easier. Yep.
Sure.
That works too. Yep.
Yeah,
Grace had her hand up.
Oh, I was just going to say, for the bulk of these on the first page, we discussed them quite in depth last year and we
Yeah.
felt good about them. So to some
And
extent,
they are,
yeah.
they are an
so-
organization that has
Yeah.
applied in the past with us. So exactly the same program. Yeah. Okay.
Could
So,
I,
yeah, please.
a
Maybe
question?
what I'll do is I'll open the floor up for questions and then we'll do the vote. How's that?
Great.
Okay. Kurt.
Hi, and I don't think it's going to matter for this year. I'm in support. I think all of the organizations requesting look good. I was just looking at the criteria and just was wondering a little bit more of an explanation around the merit and achievement. So where we're to look, which says, what is the nature of the project and can it be sustainable?
Mhm.
I'm just wondering, and it might be for even future years where there is perhaps far more requests than there are money, but sustainable, what does it, I guess, what's your thought around that, Dorothy, in terms of what it means by sustainable?
Well, can they keep this program going? Can they keep this particular program going in the schools? And as long as they have the funding, absolutely, because there is such a need for it, right? Scary, unfortunately, but can they keep it going in future years? So that's my interpretation. Neil, do you have a comment?
In general, like for the Fergus Scottish Festival, as far as sustainable, they're requesting funds for this year for a
Right.
project that they would like to do. I think it's all great. I'm just wondering about, in general, about the word sustainable, whether that means moving forward as an organization beyond this year because they've been funded, there's sustainability, or I just want to help it make
I think-
sense. Because
well, I
there's
think
varied applications.
It also applies to the organization themselves, right? Like
Okay.
Scottish Festival have been around for 75 years, 175 years, something like that. So we know they're very much going to be sustainable. It's some of the ones that come in that we know nothing about, never heard of them before. Those are the ones we have to really think about. But I think it applies both to the program and to the organization applying. Does
Okay.
that make sense? Neil,
Yep.
would you concur?
Yeah, I would concur with that. And really, Curtis, when it comes down to it, when we have more requests than we have money, then we look at things like, okay, is this something that we can put money into and it's going to make an impact over a couple of years, or is this a one-off? And then we might want to have that discussion as a group.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a one-off. We might want to give more weight to somebody that's going to be here year after year after year.
Correct.
Yeah,
That's a
that was
better
my
way to explain it.
on a year where it's difficult decisions are going to need to be made. We would have to rely more strongly on the details of the criteria.
Yeah, that's right. And we've been really lucky as a committee because the last 2 years, this year, because, well, most of them, I think because of COVID, we have more money than we have grant applications, but we still have to follow the rules, which is why Dorothy brought up the people that don't qualify. It's hard to say no, but they don't meet the criteria. And so we have to be, we're responsible for the taxpayers' money is the bottom line, right?
Does that answer your question, Kurt? Does that help?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, thank you.
And yeah, like we've sat in these meetings in the past and when we could meet in person and we've had more grants than money. And that's when it gets very critical for the scoring. And I encourage you all to submit that to me because I like to have records available so that I can defend any questions that come my way on behalf of you folks. Okay, good. So any further questions on the Children's Foundation? Seeing none, can I take any objection, is that the right word? Objection? To the $5,000? Okay. The Community Resource Center is the next one. Again, their school backpack program, which they've applied for. I believe their first time was last year. Again, I contacted them directly because in their application, I wasn't sure that the money was staying in Center Wellington to the schools. And I wanted to confirm that because this organization also represents North Wellington. And so I did speak with the applicant and they are absolutely 100% funded just in Center Wellington for the $3,000. So again, there were no red flags with this one. Any questions? And if I'm going too fast, please tell me. I can slow it down.
No.
Okay. Any objections to their application for $3,000? Hey, this is going way too quick. The Elora Environment Center, they have applied for additional funding this year. They've not asked for the full amount in the past. Again, it's for their many programs that they do in the community with their tree inventory and various programs. Their biggest part of this ask is to bump up wages. They get funding for grants and whatnot, but they need people with more responsibility levels. And so they feel the need to top up their salary rather than, just pay the minimum wage that the grant does. So I believe that's why they've asked for the increase for that. So that's all I found with that particular one. We all know we've given money to this organization for quite some time. And I almost feel like this is one of those ones that will end up going to the other category because they apply for pretty much the same stuff every year. So any questions? Any objections to the $5,000? Okay. The Elora Fergus Arts Council, we see them back this year. They have not applied last year because they did some rollover with their funding. Again, this organization relies heavily on this grant through the township. They are offering various festivals and events and exhibits for that money. I did reach out to the applicant because I was getting a little bit confused as to her numbers, and she explained it very well to me. And so it certainly accounts for the $5,000 that they were asking for. Any questions? They've added 2 new events. The Words and Music Festival is a new one. And I know that's a big chunk of that $5,000 that is going towards that particular program. So it's nice to see this organization doing some new things. Okay, no objections? Nope. We're halfway done already. Okay, no argument here. Allura Festival, again, they're only applying for the one grant this year. They usually, the Allura Festival applies for one and the singers apply for another. They're still kind of rolling over some funding that they haven't been able to use. And that's another thing with all these grants, right? Some of these organizations are still using funding from last year that they haven't spent yet. So I think that's why we've seen less again this year. So the Allura Festival are wanting to come out with some new outreach programs that will be free to the community. And again, there were no red flags at this end for this program. So any questions from any of you folks? Okay, are we like,
Everybody's hearing you. Just take the good word that you can get, because I had
Okay.
8-hour meetings this week. And if
I
this
know,
one gets
I
in
know,
under
and I
4,
feel like
I'm happy.
the Duracell bunny. I'm just like on a treadmill running, right, to get through it all. And
If
I don't-
anybody has any objections, jump in, but
yeah,
silence
please,
is golden.
like, I don't want to miss anything with this stuff. But again, the Allura Festival is a strong organization. It's sustainable. They've been around forever. They offer great programming, and we've always supported them in the past. So
I think part of it is, Dorothy, we've had good prep time. Like you brought these to us well in advance, and even last meeting, we learned about them. So you're doing a good job, and we're well informed ahead of time. So
thank you. Okay, wonderful. Just got to make my notes for tomorrow. Okay. The next one I have is, oh, just a second, sorry. Yep, I'm good. The next one is Allura House. They're asking for $1,000. This is for no particular program or activity. It's just merely a donation to their organization. I don't know very much about them other than what they are about, and it frightens me that it's happening in our own backyard here. But I don't know a lot about the organization other than I did go on their website to try to learn more. I know their staff are based out of the Allura Road Christian School, but I believe they serve a need in our community, and that's all I have on that particular one. Neil.
I can confirm for you, Dorothy, that the services they provide take place in the Fergus Allura Center, Wellington area, even though the building that they reside their administration in is not. But their services are here. I know many people who volunteer for their organization, and I think it's a very worthy cause. And I, like you, am shocked and a little bit ashamed that it's needed in our community, but I'm glad they're here.
Yeah, and I look at that as what's the other one? Sorry. The Children's Foundation are based out of Guelph, but their need is here, and that's who they serve, are their schools here. So again, that's just my only comment. So does anybody else have any questions about it? Are you all familiar with the organization?
I'm familiar with it. I know definitely the issue of the trafficking and stuff. It's been stuff I've heard at the county level too, through the Police Services Board.
Oh, of course, right.
Yeah, kind of the same, right? It's great work they're doing, and sad that it's a need in the communities.
Yeah, I have no problem giving the money whatsoever to this group.
Right.
Brian?
Likewise, I'm assuming very strongly that it's non-sectarian, that it's non-religious, that they're open to anyone who has a problem. That's
They're
the
a
only
rescue
criteria
group.
we're interested in.
They're a rescue
Sorry?
group. They're a rescue group. They don't ask what religion these ladies are. They get them out, and that's the big thing.
Good stuff. Thanks, Neil.
Grace?
Just a question about scoring. When it says degree of accessibility, most of the organizations we've talked about so far, almost anyone could go to or have access to their activities. Do I score the Allura House low because not that many people are going to it? Or is that And the same with the brass band, sort of, it's a small group of people that would go.
Right.
Should I score them lower? We didn't quite understand how to do that.
Yeah, that's a good question, and it's a tough one. I think the fact that it is accessible to anybody here
Who
that
needs it?
needs their services, that's what you have to consider.
And
Yeah,
both those organizations, Gracie, I don't think they would turn anybody away. If anybody wanted to come
no,
and join the brass band, they wouldn't say no. And as far as the Laura House goes, anybody who needs help, they're coming and they'll help them. So it's accessible to anybody who needs it or wants to go there.
Okay.
okay. Does it serve the greater need of the community? No, but if anybody in the community needs it, they have access to it. So I guess that's a kind of what Neil said. Okay. Okay. Are we all
I
in
guess it's just
favor?
because I want to give all of them 25.
You do what you need to do.
Those
I
are
just
great
need numbers
stuff.
for my file, Grace. I just, right? Okay, so I'm assuming no objection to the $1,000.
Nope. You let Kim back. Oh, she's back.
Oh, I forgot about you.
She went out. She did her thing. Either Devlin kicked her out or she went out. But you did everything by the book, Kimberly.
We'd never kick you out, Kim. Okay, moving on. The Fergus Scottish Festival are looking for $5,000 this year to provide free community activities in downtown Fergus to bring the festival to downtown, which is really, really great and important to the BIA down in Fergus. So, excuse me, my dinner. So yeah, that's, again, there were no red flags with that application at all. Any questions? Kurt, you look perplexed. No? You're on mute. Okay.
No, it was a sound in my house.
Oh,
Yeah, that's all.
okay. So no questions? We're on the second last one. Grand Celtic Pipe Band are asking for $5,000. Again, drumming and piping instruction and replacement of equipment. Questions? Concerns? You guys are a tough bunch tonight. Wow.
Just take it while you can get it. These are good
I
meetings.
am. After yesterday? Yeah, I am. Okay. Last but not least is KIP, Kitchen in the Park. They are asking for $5,000 for cement footings. I look at that, and to me, that is a capital project. I don't know if anybody objects to that, but that is my interpretation of that. It's a capital project. Grace.
We've done a lot to support KIP, and I think Stacy could use any help. Is there any way she could adapt her request to not have it? Like, can she get supplies to bake, to make money to buy her footings? You know, is there any way she can shift it, or is it too late to do that?
Oh, I think it's too late to do that now. I mean, I can't go back and say, well, the way you've written your application makes you disqualified, so submit a new one.
So
Well,
she
then I
just
would
didn't
have to do that.
she didn't look at it carefully then when
No.
she.
No,
Okay.
but I do believe she's going to be applying for some other funding to help offset that through the OLG funding.
Yeah, there's
So-
heritage and cultural grants that
Yeah.
she can apply for that don't have those stipulations. That if she words it in the right way, if she
Yeah. And those are the grants that are approved by council, not this committee. So yeah, if I do that, I have to go back and ask other people to adjust theirs too, and we can't do that. So I like that you're being so nice, so. So that took 25 minutes. Now, there aren't many applications. two of them right out of the hopper were disqualified, unfortunately. So well done, guys.
Well, thank you, Dorothy. You put it together in such a way that, we had some time to work on it, and it wasn't as daunting a task this year as it has been in past years, but still, it was presented well.
If you, I mean, I know you guys only have one more term left, but how is the whole electronic receiving of these applications? Does it work for everybody? Because I'll tell you, we're saving a lot of trees by not making copies here.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that too, because then I just create a file on my laptop,
Yeah.
on the desktop of what it is, open it up, have a look at them, and I can score them. By the way, your Excel score sheet, right? Did you send us an Excel score sheet, or am I
Yeah.
thinking about a different? Yeah, okay. That was a breeze. Thank you.
Okay.
It just makes it easy.
Great. But if anybody, and like I said, I know you only have another year term left, and hoping some of you are coming back, or all of you. But if this doesn't work for you, I'm happy to get you a paper copy. But honestly, at this end, it works brilliant. I'm sitting here with 3 screens and everything's up on them, and my report's done. So it's great. So good.
Thanks,
Well done,
Dorothy.
guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Even on an iPad, it worked. So thanks for that.
Good.
Could I, one final point. I believe we've just approved $33,400.
Yep.
How much was, I've forgotten how much we had originally to start with.
So the grant itself was 70. Because we had less asking this year, we knocked it back to 65. And our other grant series, which we call the specific annual grants, which are the annual ones that people don't, like the food bank, do not have to apply. They just send in their requests for the funding. That total came to 24,000. So in addition to what you just said, Brian, what was your total? 'Cause I haven't totaled
33,400.
mine yet.
That's all right.
How much?
I have 33,400.
I don't add well without a calculator. So a total of 57,478. So we still have a little bit left.
So Dorothy, can I ask how many of these grants that we approved tonight? I know some of them are new, but there are some that we've seen over and over again. How close are they to going into the other category?
I would have to say the one that should go next is probably the Elora Environment Center. They need to have some history built up with this particular grant before they can be transferred.
Right.
So I would probably say the Elora Environment Center. Yeah, because and it's got to be consistent. The program's got to be, so Scottish Festival can't move to that category because their programming changes. Whereas like the Environment Center, they're very specific what they use their funds for. The other one that probably is going to be sneaking up behind us is the Children's Foundation. So I can see that one moving soon too, but I need to go back and see how long they've been applying for it. It's typically, I think, about a 5-year history we want to look at. So
Okay, so
Okay.
back to Kurt's question.
Yeah.
Sustainability. I think when you put together your list next year,
mhm.
if you could put a number associated to how many years they've been applying,
Oh, of course.
okay, and then how many years it needs to go before they get rolled into
Okay.
the other category, that may, like, it's okay now, but in a situation where if we had, say, $70,000 worth of grants,
Right.
I don't want to see a day where somebody on this committee, not necessarily this group, but maybe the next group says, well, they gave it to them last year. Let's give it to them this year. And it
Right.
stops an organization from rolling in to
Yeah.
the other grant. So that's something that needs to be explained to the committee so that we understand about the sustainability of these grants.
Perfect. Nope, that very good point, Neil. I'm adding it to my spreadsheet. Can't talk anymore.
Question for Devlin at this point. do we need to have individual motions for each of these, or is that something you had given me some insight into actual motions that we could use? Is that something we're going to do now?
Since we didn't argue over anything and everybody was happy, I just have one kind of all encompassing one here. And it just reads that CSAC recommends to council all eligible applicants receive the dollar amount requested.
You might want to put in the two of them were denied because they did not fit the criteria.
Sure.
Is that part of the same motion or is that a separate one? Neil or Devin?
It'd be this, I
That
think
is
it'd
the
be,
end of the motion.
it's the
And so
same.
Devlin, that's in your minutes, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then what I do is I take a report to council outlining who the applicant is and what they applied for and what they were granted. So they
I'm
get the
looking at
detailed
Carrie's
report.
minutes from 2019, and that's what she's done here. So
Okay,
Okay. Do we want to, I guess we have a motion then. Do we have anyone want to move the motion? Neil Dunsmore, seconder. Grace? Any discussion at this point, or have we discussed it pretty thoroughly?
Good.
Okay. Not hearing any in decision to discuss it further. All in favor, or did we cover everybody? Kim and Jennifer. Okay, so the motion is passed. Unless I missed somebody as I flip my screen around here.
I liked how Jennifer put the symbol of her hand up.
Sorry, I'm having connection issues. I have
No,
the
that's
video
okay.
off.
Missed it completely. Okay, well done, everyone. That's
Yeah,
a biggie.
thanks
the next
very
item-
much, guys. That's great.
Next item on the agenda is the Healthy Growth Advisory Committee update. That would be me. We didn't have a meeting today. I'm not exactly sure why, but I think there was something that took a number of counselors away from participating. So, and I'm sure that'll come out in the fullness of time. But as I said in the last time, that this committee, which is divided into two committees, one to look at financial incentives, the other to look at policies that would lead to more attainable housing. We've made some recommendations to council, and these are sort of big picture items, macro approaches to having a system where the kinds of housing are more housing, plus the desirable attainable housing could be achieved. That's kind of a long-term thing. I know in future we're going to be talking about other aspects of housing in our community. So, but I don't have anything really to add to what I said the last time. Anyone have any thoughts or concerns? Grace, you look like you're about to land a bombshell on us.
No.
Anyway, I think this particular committee has done some good work. It's been really interesting to be involved in, and if an advisory committee can be considered to be activist, I guess we're just bordering on being that. Anyway, it's been fun to be part of that, and I appreciate the opportunity. Kurt, are you still there? Yeah, you're still there. The indoor turf facility update.
No update.
Okay. Neil, you give us a council update, please.
Oh, sure. What do you want to know? Ask me any questions.
Oh, some of the really good inside stuff would be great.
It's been a busy couple of weeks for council. Really, I'm ready for a scotch. Yesterday was the budget, which was about an 8-hour meeting. And I am
really?
pleased to say that we did pass the budget.
Fabulous.
And so that's good. But I mean, some people, and I did get an email today questioning how we could do it in a day, and it's not a day. The first meeting on the budget started in May, and we have worked on it every month or so since then. And so what was in the document that was delivered to us for yesterday's meeting was not a surprise to anybody. We had discussed that. And the details of that budget will come out in the press. I'm sure Kendra's got a press release coming, and I don't want to steal her thunder, but it is a good budget. It is something I'm quite proud of. When you see it, if you have any questions, feel free to call me and talk about it. I'm good with that. And then today we did have a special meeting, and I can't tell you about that. It was a great meeting. I'll tell you that much. It was a long meeting. But I think we're all happy with the end results. So those will all come out in the press. And I know that's probably the vaguest council report I've given you in the whole time I've been here, but that's just the way it is. The staff kept the increase to 2.4 and below in your tax increase, which, considering the amount of work that we're doing, is really, really good. You'll hear a lot about the operations center, and it's the most one of the most misunderstood items in the budget, and that's coming out of development charges, not tax dollars, development charges. So that means the developers that are coming here from out of town, building all the homes, we're charging them development charges for that, and it's a good thing for the township. Whether that you want it that big or not is up to other people to argue, but I think it's a great initiative, and I think to get developers to pay for things instead of us is the way to go. So that's about it from council. I do want to say this to this committee, because this is our last meeting before Christmas, correct? So I want to thank you all for the hard work you put in this year, and what a great group you've been. You really have. It's been a lot of fun. This is I guess people hear about it anyway. I don't care. This is my favorite committee. We all get along really, really well, and we have fun doing it. And you guys do some really, really good work. So thank you very much. And I wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you, Councillor. And thank you for all your good input over this year and the previous 3 years of this term. The Parks and Facilities update, is that coming from Matt, or are we just going to pass over that, or what is your feeling?
I can give a quick update. I thought Dorothy was going to take most of this meeting, but she just flew through it. I apologize for being late. My computer didn't want to go to work, so it took me a while to get on. So sorry about that. Just a couple things. We, as staff, have been working with the architect firm that's helping us update the Elora Community Center. So we're working out costing and a scope of work. We've got roughly just under $5 million to play with. And just with the changes of COVID and the expensive materials, we may have to change that scope around a little bit. So we are working on costing and scope of work. And once we get a better idea, we're going to sort of bring it here for your comments and your input. We're also going to be reaching out just to some other stakeholders like the minor sports groups as well. So I'm hoping if all goes well, we should see something for the first meeting in January, if all goes well. Also, just want to give you a quick update on Forfar Park. We were hoping to have that project completed by this year, but just with the wet weather, it's just pushed everything back a little bit. So we that's going to be delayed and hopefully finished up in the spring. Graham Park, we're working with the developer to get a new playground in there. We just went through an evaluation, and that should be coming to council fairly soon for their thumbs up. As well, the electrical project at the Sportsplex grounds, it is finishing up as well. So a lot of work going on. It was great to see the different groups and different local contractors going together and getting that project completed. And one final thing, we've been working with the local snowmobile group. So it's Elora, Fergus, Bellwood, club, and they're looking at trying to bring trails closer to town. There's one at the south end of Allure that sort of cuts across. They're working on just trying to bring a safe trail closer where people on County Road 7 could get closer to the Gorge Country Kitchen, Tim Hortons, and even looking at trying to get into the racetrack. And we're also working with them. It's looking very positive that they're going to have a staging area at the Sportsplex back by the campgrounds. And this is where hopefully we get more people coming into Center Wellington. So there's a lot of people from the GTA like to trailer their snowmobiles up this way. A lot of them they drive right by Center Wellington. They head up to Mount Forest. So we're trying to capture them and them spending their dollars here in Center Wellington. And the club is looking at landowners trying to connect the Sportsplex to the main trail, which is just south of the Sportsplex, and also looking just to bring a trail in down Highway 6 where the local businesses can prosper from the snowmobiles. And just to give you an example, just chatting with the one member, they did bring a trail in to Garifraxa. There's a private gas station at the east end. Not sure if everyone's aware of that gas station, but they did bring a trail into there, and that gas station basically ran out of gas a couple times just for the amount of snowmobile traffic going through. So yes, it's a short month or a short season, sorry, but no, I think it'd be great. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that. Does anybody have any questions at all?
Okay, seeing none, I'll say thanks to you, Matt. Appreciate that. Let's hope for lots of snow this winter. Next is cultural and special events update. Dorothy, I guess you're going to do that.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to update other than a couple of things. The sculpture project. I'm going to just give you a brief little summary of that. So I understand that everybody really likes the Skipping Girl, the bronze statue that Tim Dolman created. I was given a price of $6,000 for that sculpture. I finally contacted him this week. He is a hard man to get hold of because he's moved to a different municipality. And I talked to him personally, and he was quite shocked when I said 6,000. He says, no, that's not the price. In fact, it's 8,600. So it's gone up quite a bit. He doesn't know why I was told 6,000, but anyway, it's 8,600 now. So I told him that we are interested in it, but I need to investigate a stand. He's helping me with that. He lives up, oh, I forget, I didn't write it. I want to say Durham or somewhere like that. But the one thing I did learn yesterday, which I wasn't fully aware of, that statue is only 2 feet tall. So she's not very big. She's quite small. But it is bronze, which is fabulous. So he's given me some guidance on the stand it's going to go on, and he's going to help me source that out, because I said I need to have a firm price for that. So I just want you to know I am working on that. And so that's my update there. And I just want to share with you that we now have the Fergus Grand Theatre open for live productions. We have a very busy weekend there this weekend. There's a rental in there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, which is great. And then the Allure Community Center Earth Theatre moves in next week for a week. So the theater is really gearing up for shows. And I attended one a couple weeks ago, and it was just great to be back there. And everybody there, we're just happy to be back into doing something that feels normal. So that's my update there. Our senior center is gearing up to open 5 days a week as of January the 3rd. They are still offering many Zoom programs, and they're going to continue to do that, especially for the winter when a lot of seniors don't want to go out and scrape off their cars to go to a program. They can do it right from the comfort of their home. So we are gearing up to open that building 5 days a week, starting the first week of January. So things are starting to come back to normal, thank God. So it's good. And we've actually had a couple of requests from some brand new events that want to utilize the Sportsplex next year. So we're very excited to be working with new organizations that love our facilities. And so we're just at the beginning stages of talking with them about pricing and stuff. So I hope to have more to report on that in the new year. I think that's it for me.
Great, thanks,
Any
Dorothy.
questions?
Are there?
Good. Thank you.
One possible or one positive source of income next year, we're having a provincial election, so there'll be advanced polls, and I'm assuming they pay reasonably well. I'm not asking to know how much, but I'm assuming it's a relatively lucrative activity. So
They pay full
Anyway.
price, trust me.
good. Well, they did a great job, Matt, on the federal election at which I worked. So, as I said before, the final item on our agenda is the departmental and capital projects update. And I'm not sure, I guess, are you and Matt and Dorothy going to speak to that, or does someone else have? something to
I
tell us?
combined, sorry, Brian, I did combine a bit of both in my report. So
Okay,
that touched upon some of the capital items. So we're good to go.
okay. Anything else in that line at all? I can't think what it would be exactly, but anyway. Kurt, I think you're going to be able to get to your appointment in Guelph without any problem. And
Running
I don't-
my kids around.
yeah, well, that happens in life. I can remember doing that for about 10 years. Anyway, I have nothing else on the agenda. Does anyone have anything they want to add or throw in at this point?
My only comment is thank you so much for making this very easy tonight. It's great. I think next year we are going to be in a different situation. So let's brace ourselves and enjoy this moment while we can. But we still have some events that are still, like I said, spending money that they've had in the past. So, we may look like we're not allocating a lot right now, but we will be. I know that need is going to grow. So I want to thank you all so much for making my job easier tonight. So that's great. Thank you. And a Merry Christmas to each of you and your families, and safe and happy holidays.
Well, right back at you. I have just a quick question. Given that we do this in the late fall, will this group be doing the grants again next year in 22?
It's an election year, Brian, so there could be a possibility of a whole new council, and that won't come till October, and then they'll select a new committee. And if you remember when we did our first round, it was quite hectic because we had just started. And thanks to the guidance of Dorothy, we figured out what we had to do. So that's what everybody will be in for next year. And I would encourage all of you to put your names forward again, because you're a great group. I don't know if I'll be here, but
Took the
you
words
guys
right
are a
out of my
great group.
mouth, Neil.
Good stuff. Okay, well, and I frankly, can we just by consensus say that the meeting has come to an end? And we'll see what's the date in January? I forget. January 3rd?
12th. January 12th.
January 12th. Okay. So we skipped that first one. That's because it's part of the holiday season,
Yeah.
I guess, eh?
Yep.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
Oh, Dorothy's shaking her head. She's holding the calendar.
No, I think it's January the 5th, the first Wednesday, right?
I've got
Oh,
the
I
next
think
meeting
we
here in the
bumped it.
agenda says the 12th.
Yeah, I think we bumped it, didn't we, Devlin? Just because,
Yeah, we
nobody's
bumped them
gonna be able
because
to
it's the
prepare.
first week back from holidays and people are away with the kids being off from school and stuff still.
Good to know. Thanks.
Okay, well,
See, there you go. You'd be sitting here by yourself, Dorothy.
I've done that
Dorothy,
before.
it was just approved on Monday, so we will circulate all the.
Oh, I like it better on the 12th, trust me. So what I need to figure out is when I'm going to take this report to council, Carrie.
December 20th.
Okay, perfect. Good.
Yeah.
There you go.
wonderful.
Awesome.
Ciao
Thanks,
for
everyone.
now.
Merry Christmas,
Thanks,
everybody.
everyone.
Christmas, everyone.
Merry
Likewise.
Christmas.
Thanks, everybody,
Bye-bye.
for great work. Bye.